Welcome. Welcome, everybody. Good afternoon. We're closing the doors here. Just 1 second. All right, welcome. Thank you very much for joining today. This is our inaugural Sustainability in Action President's Update event. I'm Kristen Larson, the Director of Energy and Sustainability here at SDSU, and I'm thrilled to be hosting this event with the rest of my President's Sustainability Advisory Committee. For those of you unfamiliar about the committee, it was launched last year in 2022 by President De La Torre to provide oversight, transparency, and collaboration between different departments and organizations completing sustainability initiatives on campus. You will hear from several committee members today and the president to provide a snapshot of what faculty, students, and staff are doing to make SDSU more sustainable. So you may use the QR code on the screen at any time to view the full agenda, and it'll also allow you to submit questions that you have for the presenters. At the very end, we'll have a Q&A session. For those of you on Zoom, you can submit questions using the Q&A feature. Also, everyone, please note that this event is being recorded. And for those here in person, I have a few housekeeping items. So if you need to leave before the presentations are over, please head up and out. Restrooms are out and to the left. The doors over here will be locked until the end of the presentation. Other items, silence cell phones now. If you have them, make sure to silence your cell phones. And then this is a zero waste event. So anything that you use out there, plates, forks, that sort of thing, put it in the compost bin because we want to make sure that we're adhering to zero waste. And then I think that's it for housekeeping. And then before starting with our first presenter, I'd like to provide a land acknowledgement. So for millennia, the Kumeyaay people have been a part of this land. This land has nourished, healed, protected, and embraced them for many generations in a relationship of balance and harmony. As members of the San Diego State community, we acknowledge this legacy, we promote this balance and harmony, we find inspiration from this land, the land of the Kumeyaay. And now I'm happy to introduce our first speaker and our main sponsor of today's campus briefing. President Adela De La Torre has demonstrated her interest and commitment to furthering SDSU's sustainability goals. And in her charge to the President's Sustainability Advisory Committee, she has challenged us to consider our environmental impacts in everything that we do. That includes policy, practice, research, and academic offerings. While we have a lot of work to do still on campus, we are thankful for her leadership and support for our collective efforts to date. Please join me in welcoming President De La Torre.
Thank you, Kristen, for the introduction. And, we've heard for decades the call for environmental protection and our need to enhance social responsibility and action around the impact we're having. And I think it's something that when I came to SDSU, I could feel from many faculty and students. In fact, the Green Love group on campus has been one of the most important groups in my mind in continually reminding us of the importance of this issue for not only our campus, not only for our nation, but for the world. And I'm just so proud of the work they've done, particularly when we were developing the strategic plan. Many of them were very, very engaged in ensuring that sustainability, environmental sustainability, and everything we do would be part of that plan. So we have, I think, been very, very environmentally conscious. We obviously can do more. And I think it's important to recognize that this was an effort of many people, faculty, staff, and students, to reduce environmental harm and to think of it both in terms of short run, long run, medium run gains over time. So we have issues dealing with composting, which I was really happy to see that we're beginning to practice composting. I was surprised when I came here we weren't doing that. And now, even in the president's office, we actually have our own compost bin. And in fact, I used it today for my orange peels. I have to say that before I go to the events, I just got back from Washington, D.C. and had an opportunity to talk to program officers of the Department of Energy. For those of you who are not aware, we are developing a major STEM building in the Imperial Valley focused on lithium. In fact, the whole vision of the governor on the Lithium Valley was by 2035, we would not be selling in the state of California gasoline-based cars, but we would have electric cars. Obviously, those would be new ones, not that there wouldn't be some old ones, but the idea would be that we would develop a grid. But critical to that was to be able to have lithium and other important elements. And why the Imperial Valley became important was at the Salton Sea in the Bryan, there was one of the largest deposits of lithium in the world. And so the question was not just the extraction, but how to do it in an environmentally sound way to mitigate environmental risk, but also to create this vision of a world where we are not based on fossil fuels, which again is something that strategically as a university and nation, we need to really think about if we really want to reduce carbon emissions. So in that conversation, I was able to share both what the government, our governor's goal, but more importantly, how we at SDSU will move forward with our STEM facility to create a workforce and a community and a support structure to enhance environmentally sound extraction of lithium and build an alternative future for so many Americans as well as the world. So our event today is going to focus on 3 recommendations from the strategic plan initiatives. And for those who have looked at it, it's activity number 15. So the first one is the goal was to establish our new Office of Energy and Sustainability. The second one was to establish Sustainability Advisory Committee. And the third one was to establish an annual briefing where we engage the campus community and share our sustainability accomplishments, current initiatives, and goals. Our intention was to bring together faculty, staff, and students who are leading the instructional, research, and operational initiatives together to share and raise the awareness of our collective work and create opportunities for collaboration and innovation. So we're really proud to announce that in collaboration with the leadership of the College of Arts and Letters, the Office of Energy and Sustainability has moved from the basement of the Facility Services building to the 5th floor of the Arts and Letters building, which is a wonderful place for us to engage this important office. So it will provide, with this new location, visibility for the office. It will also provide greater access to the broader campus community. And those are both priorities for me, because where we place this office is critical in creating where it stands in the organization and the visibility for students as well as faculty and staff. So it's clear that I really think that this goal has been met by creating greater visibility, greater accessibility, and the full energy of our students and faculty alike. We're excited to explore collaborations with Cal faculty researchers, especially since our sustainability major and minor and Center for Regional Sustainability both reside in the College of Arts and Letters. I have to say, I often mention when I'm out talking to people about what our students are interested in, I talk about the sustainability major, which is a fabulous interdisciplinary major, but more importantly, which is galvanizing many of our students. So many of our students are engaged and interested, and they see the importance, and they're actually walking towards this major because they see the future is bright when you focus on these important issues. So our colleagues who are going to be presenting this information today. So I want you I want to invite you to take note of the volume and quality of work accomplished, in progress, and being planned, because there is so much exciting work that's occurring right now that I think it's a wonderful opportunity. I think you might say that we've accomplished a lot, but there's a lot more we can do. But we're going to need the talent of everyone on this campus, not only in the Mesa, but Imperial Valley, and as we expand to Mission Valley. But finally, before we proceed today, I want to thank the members of the planning team for pulling this event together, and to all their speakers. I had an opportunity to talk to them before this event. I was so impressed in what they had done and the different opportunities of research projects, of planning, the group Green Love and what they are doing. So I need to really thank all of you who shared with this good work, and the Office of Energy and Sustainability, and particularly the Associated Students for hosting this event. So I think it's important when we look at today and the future that for our planet, for our community, for our students, sustainability matters. It is critical for us to remind ourselves that every resource is precious in so many different ways, and that it's not only for today, but it's for the future and for generations to come. To come. So again, I want to thank all of you for your efforts and for the service, and more importantly, for caring so much about the health of our future. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much for that great opening. And we'll now discuss updates on the primary sustainability activities of the SDSU strategic plan and how they help to create the President's Sustainability Advisory Committee and kickstart other campus sustainability initiatives in recent years. Please welcome Eric Hansen, Associate Vice President of Business Operations.
Thank you very much, Kristen. And again, thank you, President De La Torre, for your leadership and engagement during this program. And I want to thank all of you for attending today's inaugural event. In 2019, the San Diego State unveiled the results of a comprehensive strategic plan called We Rise, We Defy, Transcending Borders, Transforming Lives. It identified 5 goals and 54 activities, including a number around opportunities in sustainability and transportation. For goal 3, the charge was to invest in organizational practices that prioritize the responsible management of resources with a focus on global and environmental sustainability. There are 3 major sustainability-related items, as President De La Torre shared. One was developing our team to lead our sustainability efforts from SDSU's perspective. The second was to update our university climate action plan that had been developed in 2017. And the third was to developing guiding principles for sustainability. When we convened the group, we determined that we should reorder them so that we could, after the organizational recommendations, we could focus on the principles that would inform the update our climate action plan. Given the level of overlap of the respective charges, we also combined these 3 committees into one. In all, we had 7 unique co-chairs and benefited from the contributions and leadership of 29 unique members of the SDSU community, representing our students, our faculty, our staff from both the San Diego and the Imperial Valley campuses. As the recommendations related to these 3 activity groups are in various states of rollout, we've had some definite successes, but we also acknowledge that we are a work in progress for all. As an update for Activity 15, we had conducted extensive research for best practices from a number of benchmark and aspirational institutions, as well as national and global leaders in sustainability to inform our efforts. There was the recommendation to create the new distinct Office of Energy Sustainability that reports directly to me as the AVP for Business Operations. We established the new office in the fall of 2021 and welcomed Kristen Larson as our director and Madeline Falco as our sustainability analyst, as the 2 full-time individuals. We hope to grow that office over time. We also recommended the development of a comprehensive sustainability advisory committee that represents our instructional, research, operational, and student voices in both the San Diego and Imperial Valley campuses. And it was recommended this committee report directly to President De La Torre for updates as various initiatives, as well as recommendations for priorities moving forward. The President's Sustainability Advisory Committee convened for the first time this past fall. And through their leadership and the members of that group, we're here today to have this campus-wide summit called Sustainability in Action, President's Update. It is our hope that this is become an annual event and becomes not only an audit of what we are doing and what we've accomplished, but also a catalyst for what we can do in collaboration. For Activity 17, we have drafted our principles of sustainability to guide our work, and we have presented them to the President's Council, President's Sustainability Advisory Committee, the University Senate Committee on Sustainability, and GreenLev. We plan to present them to the AS Board of Directors, the full University Senate, and the Council of Vice Presidents before full adoption. For Activity 16, we've made a number of recommended sub-steps that are in various states of completion for the update of our climate action plan. First was to review best practices for the climate action plan, see what has evolved since 2017, review the 2017 climate action plan and assess its progress, complete a carbon neutrality feasibility study, which we hope to complete by the end of this calendar year, end of this fiscal year, and redefine the SDSU objectives and goals for the next 5 years. We also want to do this by soliciting key stakeholder input on selected measures, update our climate action plan strategies based on our cost-effective and emission reduction to meet our goals and objectives, and then finally re-engage the university and other stakeholders selected to implement the climate action strategies. As we continue to finalize these areas of focus, we invite you to participate and collaborate with us to complete the tasks and to co-create our desired outcomes. With that, I want to thank you for your interest, for your attendance today, and turn the podium back to Kristen.
For that fantastic overview, Eric. Moving right along, we have 6 additional presentations, one from each of the Housing of Energy and one each from the Office of Energy and Sustainability, Associated Students, Housing, Transportation, ASSEC Shops, and Academics. Additionally, for these 6 presentations, we're going to move into a different format. It's a faster pace and is a fun format. It's called PechaKucha. So our speakers have a maximum of 20 slides, and they'll each speak for a maximum of 20 seconds per slide. This will help us deliver sustainability information in a concise and efficient manner, because we have so many initiatives going on that we want to share. Again, questions will be asked at the end of all of the presentations, but you can submit them at any time using the QR code on the screen. And if you're on Zoom, you can use the Q&A feature if you're joining remotely. So let's welcome our first PechaKucha speakers. They are my colleagues at the Office of Energy and Sustainability. And we have Energy and Sustainability Analyst Madeline Falco and Outreach Student Assistant Kate Regal.
Thank you, Kristen. Ready when you are. This map represents the interrelationship at SDSU between departments, offices, and organizations and their sustainable efforts. Sustainability grows out of the President's Sustainability Advisory Committee and the Office of Energy and Sustainability. A poster of this map is on display in Montezuma Hall. Sustainability was part of Facility Services until October 2021, when the Office of Energy and Sustainability was created. In May 2022, OE&S hired its director, Kristen Larson, and last month we moved into our new home in the College of Arts and Letters. In 2014, SDSU signed a commitment to reduce carbon emissions, and in 2017, the first climate action plan was approved. The CAP renewal is currently underway, and a carbon neutrality study is being done to assess cost and pathways in achieving full carbon neutrality by 2050. Since 1990 levels, overall campus emissions have increased 17%, with the largest emitter being the cogeneration plant. However, when you look at our carbon emissions based on square footage, the campus is operating more efficiently as square footage is added and new buildings are constructed. Leadership in energy and environmental design, existing buildings, operations, and maintenance. LEED EBOM rating system helps building operators measure operations, improvements, and maintenance. GMCS is in the process of receiving LEED EBOM certification, and to do that, a gas meter was installed to track building usage. Did you know there are more than 1,500 water, gas, and electric meters on campus? To make decisions about sustainable buildings and measures, it starts with knowing how much electricity, water, and gas buildings are using. Meters are the foundation for tracking utility consumption and reporting accurate data. Utility operations is under OE&S. We're the utility provider for campus auxiliaries, the friendliest utility provider you'll ever have. We monitor meters and provide transparency, accurate account information, and utility updates, and we strive to provide outstanding customer service. SDSU's Interactive Energy Dashboard went dark during COVID, and after a 2-year hiatus, the dashboard is back. It displays real-time utility usage, including water, gas, and electricity for buildings throughout campus. Look for the dashboard at EIS, and soon it will be displayed at other campus locations. The new Snapdragon Stadium at Mission Valley campus is designed to achieve LEED Gold certification. Each non-stadium building will be designed to achieve or exceed LEED Silver, and SDSU Mission Valley is designed to achieve LEED Silver in neighborhood development for the entire site. Of the 160 acres being redeveloped at the Mission Valley campus, over 80 acres will be parks and open space. This includes 4 miles of active transportation facilities. Water conservation measures include a landscape of native drought-tolerant plants. SDSU Mission Valley is being developed to treat runoff from impervious surfaces on the property. This treatment uses biofiltration basins, modular wetlands, and particle separators to clean the storm water and discharge it into the San Diego River and Murphy Canyon Creek. SDSU Imperial Valley campus installed hydration stations with filtered water that count diverted plastic bottles. The campus also uses energy-saving lighting systems, dimming or turning off lights when spaces are unoccupied. Future projects include EV charging stations and a state-of-the-art STEM building. Landscaping services sustainable efforts include using smart irrigation controllers, drip irrigation, and low water emitter irrigation systems, plus all landscaping equipment is electric. To reduce using herbicides, mulch is used throughout campus. And now Kate's going to share with us what students are doing.
The Office of Energy and Sustainability launched a pilot composting program. We have food collection bins in 9 offices around campus, and our compost intern picks them up and takes them to the college area community garden for composting. Our zero waste intern analyzes all of our campus waste data. This includes verifying the waste bills for accuracy and entering them into our campus and energy management system, as well as working on reduction efforts for waste. Our outreach onto campus includes monthly events. We hold events to educate the SDSU community on a wide variety of sustainability topics, including native plants, proper waste sorting, zero waste initiatives, and more. We also have campus sustainability walking tours, a monthly newsletter, and a website. Our energy interns analyze interval data for our campus recharge accounts. They also enter over 200 monthly utility bills, and they analyze energy data for the monthly energy report, which goes to the chancellor's office. Is your office green? Awesome. Well, we have a green office certification program that works to help offices reduce their waste and their energy usage. Different practices include procuring sustainable office products, printing double-sided, using reusable mugs, and more. Similarly, we have a Green Lab certification program, which helps labs across campus reduce their energy usage and their waste. On the picture on the right-hand side, you can see one of our Shut the Sash stickers to remind people to be more energy conscious. And finally, our ASHE STARS intern collaborates with various campus departments to help track and update the implementation of sustainability initiatives. In the next reporting period, which is October 2023, we hope to elevate SDSU's ranking from gold to platinum. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Madeline and Kate. Next, we have Sustainability Coordinator Charlotte Roberts and Green Love Sustainability Commission Representative Raul Leon representing Associated Students.
Hello, everyone. In 2009, the world's leading climate scientists formed a consensus that climate change is occurring and it's primarily caused by humans. International research and climate models have found that if we don't prevent warming beyond 1.5 degrees Celsius, half of our global population will be in danger. Associated Students is passionate about mitigating our contributions to this climate crisis. Zooming into our campus, 3 areas of importance are emphasized in our approach to facility sustainability: Some of you may recognize this concept as the triple bottom line. Let's take a closer look at these. First is human wellness. So sustainability isn't just about saving polar bears, it's also about protecting our human species. Did you know we spend an average of 90% of our lives indoors, and that includes our cars? Because of this, indoor environmental quality is crucial to the wellness and success of our students. Next, the recent exponential growth in global greenhouse gas emissions is in large part due to the combustion of fossil fuels used to heat, cool, and ventilate our buildings. Prioritizing energy efficiency to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions on campus is a critical step to mitigating climate change. And lastly, I assume you're all aware of how costly electricity and natural gas is in San Diego. Producing renewable energy on site with solar panels already saves associated students a significant amount of money every month, and we expect to save even more as utility rates continue to climb. So how do our students advance this triple bottom line? This is challenging because sustainability is subjective. It needs to be defined and then benchmarked through established metrics. The other challenge is that our students are only here for a few years at a time, so they need continuity to ensure that their progress isn't lost when they graduate. Shout out to all the greenies in the room. Our students decided they needed a standard to follow throughout the years, and they chose LEED. LEED is the most widely used green building rating system in the world, and it's excellent for its research-based sustainability strategies. LEED is a rigorous third-party certification similar to the organic label given to food products. And about a decade ago, AS set a goal to certify all of our facilities LEED Gold at a minimum to minimize our environmental impact. Thanks to lots of hard work from my team and other teams around me and student support, we've reached that goal. We're now working on recertifying our buildings in a more advanced version of LEED, and in this new version, we must be even more sustainable. To do so, we designed the new Aztec Recreation Center to be completely electric powered, meaning it doesn't burn any fossil fuels. It also has 200,000 gallons of rainwater storage, which is used to flush our toilets. And lastly, we reduce methane emissions by composting food waste instead of sending it to the landfill. We're also working on a new solar project to be installed on parking structure 12 this summer. It will be a 648 kilowatt system that will offset electricity usage at the ARC in Viejas Arena. For an idea of how large that is, a typical single-family home solar array is only 10 kilowatts or less. And Raul.
Well, as Charlotte mentioned, as time passes by, we will continue to see an increase in climate change impacts. As well, we acknowledge that our future is being impacted by our personal actions, and as students, we understand that university decisions also directly impact us, influencing students to spark an interest in working towards a sustainable future. What Greenleaf is. A safe space for students to lead sustainable efforts and their associated students. We promote all corners of sustainability with our 7 subcommittees: environmental justice, zero waste, gardening, transportation, events, marketing, and outreach. Good afternoon, my name is Raul Leon, and this is Greenlove. As Greenlove, our mission is to promote knowledge and programs to adapt sustainable habits to our daily routines while making our vision a reality, which is to assist SCSU to become a model university in sustainability and include marginalized stories and voices into the conversation. Throughout the past decade, our students have accomplished passing various climate action plans, resolutions, and referendums towards the university's sustainable development, including adding students to the development process of Snapdragon Stadium and passing a referendum to build a double LEED Platinum recreation facility that we all know and love, the Aztec Recreation Center. And this is Lily, our Greenleaf Commissioner. And as Commissioner Rep, our goal after the pandemic was to focus on outreach and to continue creating opportunities for our students to grow in the environmental field. We stay true to our mission by sitting in important boards, such as the President's Sustainability Advisory Committee, Campus Life Council, and Greenfest. And this is Greenleaf. None of our events could be possible with our amazing team of strong leaders and hardworking university staff. So I want to take the time and thank you for your hard work. If you guys could join me by giving them a clap. Yeah, we appreciate your work. Greenleaf wouldn't be where it is without you, your hard work and dedication. And one of the many events we plan is our Green Lives Bike series, which is a series of speakers and panels and films that connect students to local sustainability efforts. This year, we featured many guests, including San Diego Climate Action Plan, Victor Ochoa, painter of the Chicano Park murals, and our keynote speaker, Lisa Browner, owner of Dr. Browner's Soaps. Our biggest initiative is our zero waste events, from analyzing what materials are necessary waste to consulting with Green Love advisors on alternatives to training students to lead other students on where waste should go. As a commission, we're dedicated to ensure all our events, including this one, are zero waste events. So don't forget to put your compost on the trash on the way out. Appreciate it. And lastly, this year we continue to extend our zero waste efforts with Green Love shirts. We decided to thrift or repurpose shirts instead of buying new. This is because you need 659 gallons of water to produce one shirt. We drifted 58 pieces of clothing, saving 38,222 gallons of water this year. Pretty impressive. Lastly, our Sustainability Center is coming real soon. It is a dedicated space for all things Green Love, with the purpose to connect students to sustainable resources and organizations. It is on the first floor of the Student Union and the Student Lounge, and we can't wait for you to experience. With that being said, I would like to thank you for your time. My name is Raul Leon, and this is Green Love. Thank you.
Thank you both, Charlotte and Raul. Next up is Hannah Bowen, Associate Director for Communications and Strategic Initiatives from the Office of Housing Administration.
Thank you. Today, I'm excited to share the sustainability initiatives within SDSU Housing. This includes practices within our facilities and operations, education and engagement within our residential community, and upcoming program that is launching this fall. SDSU Housing is an enterprise, and this includes the Office of Housing Administration, residential education, housing facility services, and many campus partners, including Aztec Shops. Our offices work together to manage 24 residential buildings, which serves over 8,000 residents. In our residential facilities, we have 5 buildings with a LEED Silver certification. This includes Tenochca, Tula, South Campus Plaza North and South, and Zura. Our newest residence hall, Washakok, which houses over 1,000 residents, is our first community to achieve a LEED Gold certification. Across our residential communities, we have 5 covered and secured bicycle barns that promote active transportation. We have 45 digital displays, 3 in each first-year community, to reduce paper waste, and we use our digital displays to promote events and important reminders. We have 75 hydration stations, which reduces single-use plastic water bottles, and we place a recycling bin in each of our 2,700 units and display our campus waste guidelines to share what is appropriate to place in the various waste bins. Fall Move-In is one of our largest recycling events, and we have been able to successfully recycle 98% of all of the trash, including cardboard boxes, packing materials, and plastic film. And we kept it out of the landfill in partnership with our waste hauler, Edco. During Move Out, we launch our Give It Up campaign, where we place a container in each community and residents can donate any usable goods to the Disabled American Veterans Organization. Last year was the most successful yet, and we were able to collect 32 tons of goods and clothing. So let's put that into perspective. That's equivalent to 64,500 pounds or 30 baby humpback whales. That is unbelievable. So we thank our residents who donated their clothes, bedding, and school supplies and other usable goods. In addition to collecting goods and clothing, we also partner with the San Diego Food Bank for food donations. We place food collection containers in each community, and last year our residents donated over 5,000 pounds of food, which equates to over 4,000 meals. And let's put that into perspective. That 4,000 meals could feed half of our residential community, a third of Viejas Arena, or 1/8 of Snapdragon Stadium. It could also feed a family of 4 for almost a year, and we thank our residents for making a positive impact on our community. We recently refreshed the furniture throughout our residential communities, and rather than surplusing the old furniture, we were able to donate 2,900 items, which went to 9 different charities and as far as Africa. As part of our education and engagement efforts for our residents, we provide a move-in checklist, which includes environmentally friendly must-haves. And in our guide to community living, we outline tips and tricks on how to live green while living here on campus. Speaking of tips, we created these fun stickers that help remind students to turn off the lights when they leave their rooms. And we even have a sticker for the window to remind students to close their windows when the AC or the heat is in operation. And these are just a few of our stickers. To provide some additional education on heating and air conditioning, we created a video that educates students on how to properly set and use the thermostat that's in their room to ensure they're heating and cooling their space efficiently, but also balancing their comfort. One of our 22 living and learning communities was developed in collaboration with the Center for Surf Research, and it's called Surfing and Sustainability. This community is focused on residents who have a love for surfing and sustainability, and a fun feature is that residents have access to surfboard storage lockers, which are located right outside of Zero. We're very active on social media, and we regularly promote sustainability education on our social channels, including Instagram and Facebook. Here's an example of some of our campaigns for water conservation, zero waste, and green living tips, with many more campaigns in the works. In partnership with the Residence Hall Association, which is our student leadership program, we are piloting a composting program in Villa Alvarado this month. Residents can volunteer to practice composting and have received a free kitchen caddy with instructions and access to an organics container. And this fall, we are excited to roll out composting to all residential communities based off the feedback we received from our current composting pilot. This is something that many residents are already doing back at home, and we want them to be able to continue to practice a sustainable habit while living here on campus. We thank you for your time today, and we look forward to sharing additional updates in the future regarding our sustainability initiatives. To learn more about our efforts, please visit our Instagram or our website. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Hannah. Next, we have Transportation Analyst Sylvia Croft. Let's talk about transportation. Transportation here at SDSU has 3 major initiatives. That's to accommodate parking demands in a sustainable way, encourage mode shifts in transportation in and around campus, and decrease the number of drive-alone rates. One of the ways that we track these initiatives is through the transportation survey. Data collected through the survey is used to determine primary modes of transportation, transportation mode shifts, and program progress and development. SDSU survey is happening now. If you're interested and would like to participate, please take a look at your SDSU email address, as everyone should have received. Our first major initiative is to accommodate parking demands in a sustainable way. We do this with 2 programs, our electric vehicle charging stations and our first year on-campus parking policy. We have electric vehicle charging stations located throughout campus. We currently have 34 level 2 chargers, can be found in lots 2A, 2C, 3, 12, and 7, just to name a few. We're in the process of adding additional EV stations, including level 2 chargers in P7 and 8, 2 fast chargers in South Campus Plaza, and 1 fast charger in 2A. Additionally, we will be adding 8 charging ports at SDSU Mission Valley,
28 at Imperial Valley, including 14 at Brawley and 14 at Calexico. And overall, SDSU's main campus will have 52 new charging ports. The first-year on-campus policy was implemented to reduce the carbon footprint on campus by restricting first-year students from bringing their vehicles. This year, we had 5,000 students, and if each one of these students brought a vehicle, and if you're familiar with P12, we would need 2.5 P12 structures to accommodate all of these vehicles. Now, that's a lot of cars, and that's a lot of parking structures. This is where we begin our second initiative, and that's to encourage mode shifts in transportation in and around campus. We do this with several programs, including the Red and Black Shuttle, micromobility, and car share. The Red and Black Shuttle is an inter-campus shuttle that operates Monday through Friday, 6 to 10 p.m., and it has 3 routes, the red, the black, and the green. We encourage students to use the shuttle and in place of driving their personal vehicles from one side of campus to the other, as well as our first-year students being able to travel within campus. The second program is Bird Micromobility. Our partnership with Bird allows students to use e-bikes and e-scooters to travel not only within campus, but also off of campus. We offer incentive programs such as $1 off of a ride for parking in a designated parking location. There are designated parking locations on campus called Nest, and students must park their devices in these nests in order to end their rides. Within the 22-23 academic year, we had a total of 35,000 rides, equivalent to 708 miles ridden. Rides ranged anywhere from 0.3 to 9 miles. The third program is Zipcar. Zipcar is a car sharing company that allows faculty, students, and staff to rent vehicles on an hourly or daily basis. The program has been so successful that within the last 6 months, we have been able to increase our vehicles from 6 to 14. They're located throughout campus, including P2A, P5, P7, and P8. Within the last academic year, we had approximately 6,200 reservations and 184,000 miles were driven. Pretty successful. The final initiative is to decrease drive-alone rates on campus. We do this with 2 programs, our partnership with San Diego Metropolitan Transit System, SCMTS, and our developing Vanpool program. Our partnership with MTS has been established for many years and allows us to provide students discounted semester-long transit passes. And more recently, we have been able to partner with them to offer faculty and staff payroll deduction through the pre-tax benefit. Employees do not have to worry about adding the passes, as these are automatically added into their accounts at the beginning of every month. Students are now also able to buy monthly passes year-round instead of only during the academic year. The final program, which is currently being developed, is our Vanpool program. This will be available to faculty and staff through payroll deduction. It will be subsidized, and it will help not only the campus, but also individuals reduce drive-alone rates. This concludes my presentation. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, please feel free to submit via the QR code.
Thank you, Sylvia. Next is Director of SDSU Dining, Paul Melcher. Give a hand.
Well, good afternoon. Okay, I'm ready whenever. Good afternoon. This is a story of how SDSU Dining incorporates campus-grown waste diversion and composting in a closed circle. We have aeroponic and dirt gardens on campus managed by SDSU gardeners since 2012, and below this podium decorating it is an example of today's harvest. Where does it all begin? SDSU Dining gardeners plant organic seedlings in our 3 seedling tables on campus. These tables automatically flood and drain twice a day, 7 days a week. The organic seeds are started in rock wool until they are big enough to move into the aeroponic towers. Once the seedlings are big enough, they are transferred into one of the 55 towers on campus, and each tower holds 44 plants. Towers pump nutrient-rich water up through the center, and it comes down like a shower every 5 minutes for 15, or for 15 minutes every 5 minutes to keep the roots damp and fed. The plants actually grow in moistened water by the nutrient-rich water. The growth process from seedling to harvest with full sun takes between 3 and 4 weeks. We stagger plant the towers so we have ongoing weekly harvests instead of just one large harvest every 4 weeks. We have 2 sets of tower gardens. One at the Garden Restaurant over by Quickie Cali has 44 towers. The other one is by the Faculty Staff Club with 15. Each tower set is is hooked to a reservoir system that we manage the dosed water. When the plant reaches maturity, it is harvested, cleaned, and sent to the kitchens to be served. The roots remain on the plant until it's just before it's served, which is usually within a day, keeping all the nutritional benefits of the fresh produce intact. In addition to the aeroponic towers, we have 2 dirt gardens by the Faculty Staff Club. We grow root vegetables and items that grow more abundantly in dirt. Examples are tomatoes, radishes, carrots, kale, corn, cucumber, squash, potatoes, peas, etc. The gardener measures each harvest and notifies all the campus chefs of what is available for the day. The chefs claim the items first come, first serve, and to be used in the restaurant or catering. There is a weekly communication between the gardeners and the chefs so they can plan ahead. Produce is transferred to each location at the same cost as if they bought the organic from our produce distributor. Campus-grown produce is served regularly at the Faculty Staff Club, the Garden Restaurant, catering, and UTK. We label each item as campus-grown when we serve it. You just can't beat the fresh taste and nutrient richness of eating produce harvest on campus that same day. There's another health benefit of growing beautiful lettuce in aeroponic towers. The aeroponic towers at the Faculty Staff Club offer a peaceful waterfall sound as the diners enjoy their lunch on the patio. This soothing sound can relax even the most frazzled nerves from a hectic day. We use a scientific approach by documenting when the seeds are started, to seedling, to harvest day, to harvest volume. So the process includes ongoing learning through experimentation. We can't possibly grow enough produce to fully supply the campus need, but we serve all that we grow. The overall program at Campus Grown has a slight net financial loss, but the learning outcomes and awesomely fresh produce are well worth the process. Ironically, the most productive growing season is over the summer when we have the lowest amount of campus activity. To maximize the summer growing, we grow basil throughout most of our towers. We turn this basil into vegan pesto by adding pine nuts and olive oil, and we freeze it, and then the chefs just take it out as they need it throughout the year and add cheese if it doesn't need to be vegan. So moving on to waste diversion, SDSU Dining purchases thousands of pounds of whole fresh ingredients weekly and serving 20,000 to 30,000 meals per day on campus. We process a lot of these, and what we do is these provide an organic byproduct that gets diverted from the landfill into the composting at Miramar. Pre-consumer waste diversion consists of us collecting all the organic waste in the back kitchens during the preparation and phases of what we serve. We have 100% control chain of custody of the products, so we safely connect only the waste byproducts of this process. Post-consumer waste diversion is trickier. The general public still has yet to consistently adhere to compostable guidelines, and contamination is not a possibility for Miramar. So how do we get it to the SDSU drivers round up all the green bins across campus daily and deposit to the organic waste in the central dumpster behind Quickie Cali. Our waste hauler brings the dumpster to Miramar composting facility weekly or as needed. And a side benefit of that is that we get charged 50% of dumping that versus dumping garbage. Campus gets compost from Miramar for the flower beds and gardens on campus. Compost adds nutrients to the undersoil and adds to the evaporation barrier to help keep moisture in the dirt when watering. These benefits ultimately help the plants grow quicker, stronger, and with higher nutrient value. The entire SDSU dining team collaborates on the success of Campus Grown through diverting of organic waste. Campus community and San Diego landfill users are the overall benefactors. SDSU dining has helped delay the closing of Miramar landfill, which in 2011 was projected to close in 2016. In closing, our organic waste diversion to composting at Miramar turns into valuable compost that SDSU uses on campus to help with our Campus Grown initiative, which not only provides ultimate fresh, high nutrition of produce for our campus community, it provides a scientific-based learning opportunity for all involved. Then again, there's that beautiful sounding at the faculty staff garden. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Paul. We have our final presenter today. She is the Professor of Geography, Director of the SAGE Project, and Executive Director of the Center for Regional Sustainability, Jessica Barlow.
Everyone, I'm Jessica Barlow, honored to be presenting just a sampling of the groundbreaking transdisciplinary community engaged initiatives, centers, research, and academics at SDSU, demonstrating the important role that we play in prioritizing sustainability. I'm going to start first with our curricular programs, some of them, including the sustainability major, minor, which you heard about, allows students to explore the interacting cultural, sociopolitical, and biophysical aspects of complex environmental problems and devise practical solutions to them. It's interdisciplinary, incorporating classes from across campus. It's also flexible by design to meet different students' individual interests and needs. The food studies minor is focused on understanding the significance of food in society, including its role in sustainability. It too is flexible and interdisciplinary by design. It complements many majors and includes community engaged and solution-oriented high-impact learning experiences. The environmental science major has grown significantly in the last 10 years, in part because the students recognize that critical global systems are threatened and need the dynamic assistance of our younger generations, and also because more and more faculty are engaged in critical environmental issues and are applying strong computational modeling and experimental design to their work. The SAGE project is partners with local communities and to match their high priority sustainability related projects with SDSU faculty and their courses at SDSU main campus and Imperial Valley. Since 2013, over 5,000 students and faculty from 36 different disciplines have dedicated over 300,000 hours of effort on community-based projects. SAGE is housed within the Center for Regional Sustainability, and other projects in CRS include Brownfields Project, which focuses on assessment of brownfields in National City, and the Tijuana Historical Archives Project. We work with the city of Tijuana to preserve and modernize their historical archives. Bruce Appleyard is the director of the Action Initiative for Sustainability, Livability, and Equity. He's also SDSU's associate director of the new federally funded Center for Pedestrian and Bicyclist Safety. It's the first ever U.S. Department of Transportation funded university transportation center dedicated solely to pedestrian and bicyclist safety. The Metabolism of Cities Living Lab, directed by Gabriela Fernandez, is housed in the Center for Human Dynamics in the Mobile Age and is pushing to localize UN Sustainable Development Goals in the region and around the world. And please check out their fantastic exhibit at the library. The mission of the Field Stations program is to manage land for research, education, and the preservation of native habitat and biodiversity. The two field stations are the Santa Margarita Ecological Reserve, which is over 4,000 acres along a 5-mile reach of the Santa Margarita River, as well as Sky Oaks Field Station, which is 1,600 acres located in northeastern San Diego County. Blue Gold focuses on mitigating the effects of water scarcity, focusing on issues like water and watershed in the US-Mexico border region, water resources, water public health, water quality, and water reuse technology, engaging 14 faculty members from 4 different departments. Now, a big idea emerged from the Blue Gold work, which is Water Across Borders, Agua a Través de las Fronteras, which is led by Trent Biggs, and Natalie Mladenoff. And the initiative addresses such questions as what are the major water-related problems in the border region and how can collaboration help solve them? The U.S. Department of Energy's Industrial Assessment Center offers free feasibility study services related to energy efficiency and renewable energy for qualified manufacturing plants in Southern California. They've been funded since 1991 and have trained over 120 students and have conducted around 630 audits. Then we have the Institute for Ecological Monitoring and Management, which is a campus nexus with over 200 affiliated sustainability-focused scientists addressing such areas as applied conservation and climate adaptation through community collaborations with local, state, federal, and tribal organizations and through essential workforce training. The Center for Climate and Sustainability Studies is an interdisciplinary area of excellence that facilitates the development of interdisciplinary research proposals, increased international exchange and collaboration, and an expanded education program for climate and sustainability studies. We have the Community Climate Action Network, which is another big idea focusing on community-led action in climate adaptation and resilience through campus community partnerships. The CCAN team leaders just received a $10 million grant from the US EPA to establish a Center for Community Energy and Environmental Justice. We also have a Center for Better Food Futures that is an interdisciplinary research center housed jointly in the College of Arts and Letters and the College of Sciences, and it aims to encourage action-oriented research to identify low-input solutions to increase food security, support food livelihoods, and reduce the environmental footprint of food. We also have Brightside Produce, a student-run produce distribution service that works with locally owned and operated stores to increase accessibility, availability, and affordability of fresh produce in underserved communities. They operate a produce stand on campus. They partner with local farmers and the Santa Margarita Ecological Reserve to distribute locally grown produce, and they're a zero food waste operation. Another big idea is addressing homelessness, which is a cross-disciplinary team of researchers focusing on what is at the core of homelessness and how to prevent and reduce it. A current research objective is to understand what obstacles individuals face when accessing shelters, particularly emergency shelters. And last, certainly not least, is the Project for Sanitation Justice, and it's a partnership between SDSU and Think Dignity, a homeless advocacy and empowerment agency. They work to empower local communities in the region to make data-informed decisions to improve access to basic sanitation resources, including public restrooms. So this was just some of the sustainability-related research and other academic initiatives on campus. By no means exhaustive, and space and time obviously limit how much we could share here, but it's a nice problem to have and cause for celebration, not just for SDSU, but also the communities that we serve, that we're a part of, that we collaborate with, and for the future workforce that will train through these different initiatives. And so if you'd like to learn more about any of them, you can use that QR code that was on the previous slide, which I'm sure you can go back to sometime. Thank you.
Let's give a hand to all our Pachacucho speakers. That's not easy. 20 seconds a slide, not easy. All right, so we know that's a lot of information to take in a short amount of time. So the slides and the recording will be posted to the Sustainable SDSU webpage in the coming weeks, so you can revisit the information. That webpage is sustainable.sdsu.edu. So now I'm going to ask the presenters to make their way to the stage for our Q&A session. And as you're doing that, I have on the screen here our Climate Action Plan poll. So take out your smartphones and please take this poll. This will be beneficial for our update, Climate Action Plan update. And now that you have a better idea of sustainability and climate action initiatives, it will really be helpful for us. So there's 4 questions when you get there. The first is, from what you've seen around campus and heard today, how would you rate overall climate action at SDSU? Number 2, are there any climate action measures that SDSU is currently not implementing that you think would be beneficial? 3, what are you currently doing today that helps SDSU reduce emissions? And then 4, are you interested in helping the Office of Energy and Sustainability on upcoming climate action plan efforts? So thank you in advance for your feedback that you're providing, and look for our CAP later this year, or CAP update this year. And then if for some reason you're unable to take the poll, we'll also be posting this to the Sustainable SDSU webpage. All right, it looks like we have our presenters up here for Q&A, and we have a new face on the stage, Lily Eckhoff. She's our Sustainability Commissioner of Green Lab, so she'll be filling in for Raul for Q&A session. Yes, give a hand to Lily. All right, let's go to JC at the questions table.
Yes, when students move out of the dorms, a lot of items are trashed. Is there a recycling plan to make those used items available for incoming students who are interested?
A good one, yep, for Hannah.
Donate food as well as usable goods and items. So we collect bins and we're able to donate those to the San Diego Food Bank and then to the Disabled American Veterans.
All right. Any other questions coming in?
Students want even less plastic on campus and more packaging alternatives to reduce waste. Are there any further initiatives for alternatives to plastic happening or planned?
Question. Paul, do you want to take that?
We have discontinued plastic, individual plastic water bottles in January, and now we use aluminum individual bottles. We're constantly looking at how we package things. Majority of the items that we sell in our convenience stores are meant for single use. We do have programs in the residential dining that has reusable plastic containers where they can return them.
Anyone else want to? Right. See?
Is there a way to find out which offices and labs have been green certified?
Madeline, do you want to take?
Good question. Is there a way to find? Yes, check with our office. Check with the Office of Energy and Sustainability. If you know of an office or a lab that would like more information, these are still programs kind of in their infancy. I like to say they went on hiatus during COVID, and I've been here almost 2 years, and so we're trying to rebuild some of these programs. So Green Labs and the Green Office Certification Program are two of those programs. So yeah, check with our office, sustainable.sdsu.edu, another plug.
Fun.
Do we know how many of the Zipcar rentals were for single drivers versus carpooling? And are there people who opted for Zipcar over MTS?
Yeah, that's for you.
So there is a way for us to kind of our information. I don't have the numbers on me, but it's definitely something that we could look into. And if you email us at transportation@sdsu.edu with that question, we can definitely gather that.
Could we work with MTS to extend the free rider program age from 18 years old to 24 years old to benefit more of our students?
That's a great question. So the 18 and under program, the Youth Opportunity Program through MTS, that's a MTS and SANDAG program. We were just fortunate enough to be able to use it on some of our first year students. If you want to get involved in all of that, I would recommend reaching out to us as well as MTS to gather more information.
As the president mentioned in her welcome, she has a compost bucket in her office. How do we get one for our office and more around campus to encourage more composting?
Okay, these are really great questions. So very happy to hear more people want to compost. Again, sustainable.sdsu.edu. If you want to contact me directly, mfalco@sdsu.edu. We will get you your kitchen caddy. So we have lots of them. If you know of a department, we're more than happy to accommodate you, get you started on the program.
Can we reduce facilities' carbon emissions by reducing our dependence on the current fossil fuel intensive plant?
Scared me. That's a great question. It's actually the center or one of the core elements of our carbon neutrality feasibility study that we're conducting right now. We do know that kind of the two largest carbon users are the cogen plant and then the transportation that all of us have when we're driving to campus. And so we're looking at what is the future of the cogen plant. How will we be able to move away from gas into electrified systems? So we believe it's going to be about $200 to $300 million. So it's not going to be an easy thing or a quick thing, but we need to know what those pathways are so that we can advocate for those funding sources.
Is there contamination within the recycle, compost, and trash bins on campus, and are they manually sorted through?
Is that,
You
is
wanna
that
take that one? And then Madeline after, sure.
I can speak for AS facilities. So with the LEED certification of all of our AS facilities, we do a waste audit of all of our streams. So we not only look at the recycling streams, but the landfill waste as well. And then where we have compost streams, we look at that. We do that at EDCO's facility, our waste hauler. And so we do an initial sort of, we make categories of everything we see in each stream. And then we quantify the weight of all of those categories so we can provide a report to our facilities team and our Green Love students on missed opportunities. That's a big one when you have recyclable objects in your landfill stream, or contamination when you have landfill objects or moisture in your recycling or compost streams. So we use that data to then work with our custodial team, Aramark, and our purchasing teams to create purchasing policies. And then Green Love will kind of be the model in our events for how to procure things sustainably and dispose of them well.
So as far as the Office of Energy and Sustainability goes, our program on campus right now is a pilot program. So we have, I think, 9 departments that are participating, and the President's Office is one of them. So as far as sorting goes, ours is a much smaller program because it's a pilot right now. We do hope to launch it fully throughout campus, hopefully within the next year. So what we're doing is our composting, we have our composting interns that do a pickup once a week. As far as contamination goes, ours goes from the pickup facility that our interns do, and then those go in 5-gallon green buckets, and then they haul that to the children's center. So ours isn't at scale, at the scale yet where we need to consider that. But now when we launch it fully through the campus, we will.
And when you're looking at Aztec Shop's controlled commons areas, we don't, at this point in time, compost the post-consumers because they are frequently daily contaminated. And we have, Miramar has a zero tolerance. If any load is contaminated, they will refuse that load. And if we have 2 loads that are contaminated, they'll stop us from the program. So it's really crucial for us that we do not have contamination in.
Can someone speak more about the carbon neutrality feasibility study?
Yes, so this is something we started last fall in collaboration with AS. Essentially, it was a pathway and cost associated with going carbon neutral, ideally by the goal of 2030, but we've understood the more that we've dug into that that's not going to be physically or fiscally possible. So how quickly can we do that? What are the strategies? What are the things that we can do to get there? Once we have that information, there are some things that we'll be able to do on the campus that are kind of energy conservation measures and other things that we can use current funding and use it for these other modes and ways of doing this. In other cases, we're going to have to be advocating for resources from the state to be able to fund these things.
How do we take the transportation survey?
Yeah.
So everyone at SDSU should have received an email directly to your SDSU email address. There will be a link on there that you can use, and that's going to be the easiest way for you to access that. Also, it was on the slide.
How does SDSU encourage students to use public transportation instead of cars?
Absolutely. So we offer the discounted transit passes for MTS, and our partnerships with MTS have actually helped us a lot to reach the students. We are present on social media. We also try to put a lot of information about places where you can go, places you can visit, and then we have the Zip car on campus.
I can also add to that. So in Greenlove, one of our committees is the Transportation Committee. The head of that is Wesley Cooksey. And one of the events that this committee puts on are transit socials. So we usually have around 2 a semester where all of the students are able to take public transportation together so that maybe they can learn about a new place that they can get to or figure out that it's simpler than they believed. So actually this Friday, we're having a transit social where students are going to the Little Italy Farmers Market. Yeah.
We know we want to move away from gas cars to reduce carbon emissions. However, there is still coal consumption and carbon emissions associated with electric car production. How would we mitigate any emissions associated with electric cars?
Matt, I can kind of
Like,
fill in.
whoa.
If you want to start, and then I can jump in.
Is this outside my purview? Let's see, would we? Well, I'm just going to say, as a person who uses public transportation, I sold my car 5.5 years ago. So I am one of the biggest proponents you're ever going to meet on how to use public transportation. And I know I live in Little Italy, so I live in downtown, but it's possible if you live, Sandag did a survey on this a few years ago. If you live within 3 miles of a transit station or transportation hub, I think, or whatever they call it, you actually, I think there's a lot of people here that could probably take public transportation that wouldn't think they normally would be able to. And the proof for that is all the people I see on the trolley when there's a Padres game. So I know it can happen. As far as moving, you know, the combustion with electric, Kristen, I'm going to hand that over to you.
Oh, well, we were talking about the carbon neutrality study earlier, so that's something that we're evaluating. And one of the things that we're seeing is like the cogeneration plant, one of our biggest emitters. So we're looking into what we can do with the resources that we have in order to maybe do something that's more efficient and better for the environment with the cogeneration plant. That might involve more electrification, but it's also, we can purchase electricity, renewable electricity on campus for our buildings that aren't on the cogeneration plant. So those are a few things. Yeah, Charlotte.
Okay, and then also, if we're looking at the purchase of vehicles, whether as an individual or as a department, you can use your purchasing power to influence manufacturers. So when you're looking to sign a contract to buy a fleet or even one, talk to the sales rep, talk to the manufacturer and ask them if they've done an LCA, life cycle assessment of their entire supply chain. Ask them to provide a sustainability report, an ethics and labor report, about the sourcing of all of their materials and what kind of practices and regulations are used. So you can use your power with purchasing products to potentially shift the standards of what is acceptable in the industry.
Next question.
What percentage of the food served in the dorms comes from our gardens, and what percentage comes from outside sources?
Paul?
I would say it's probably about 10 to 15% that comes from our gardens. In reality, we serve a lot of meals per day, but I will say that 100% of what we grow, we serve.
Hannah, do you want to? Okay, great. Next question.
What is the plan to further educate students about properly sorting their waste on campus?
Another one of the committees that we have in Greenlove is the Zero Waste Committee. So every single week or every other week, they hold a meeting where they are educating students on how they can live more zero waste lives.
Hello. We have bins on, I'm not involved with this process, I just know this, so if somebody knows more about it than I do. We have, a lot of our bins on campus for recycling and composting actually have messaging on them to encourage proper sorting of different materials. So that's one of the ways that this is communicated on campus.
I can chime in here. We actually have a part of the Office of Energy and Sustainability. We have an education and outreach program for composting. So it's on our website. So if you want to go to our website, it's on that. You can also, our outreach intern who presented with me, Kate Regal, she could help you with that. We have a zero waste intern, Brian Sanchez, who could help you, but they'll come to your department, educate you. They'll come to, if it's your dorms, we can get something set up with housing, but we have that information. We'd be happy to provide it to you.
After graduating with a degree in sustainability, is there a direct pathway into the fields present here today?
Yes, so I'm super grateful that I was able to go through the sustainability major program at San Diego State. I personally chose to add a minor. I added a business administration minor just to supplement the more social and scientific-based principles that I was learning. And that was really helpful to apply my knowledge to a consulting role. I started out as an intern at a consulting firm that I met through my involvement in Associated Students. So I wouldn't have learned about that position if it weren't for volunteering in student organizations and going to networking events. I really think having a network of people, having genuine relationships with people in San Diego State and outside is critical to making the most of your sustainability degree. So yeah, go to events, go to educational events that aren't just networking to understand what fields are out there, and then you can find more targeted events for what you want to get into. And also please always reach out to me if you are a student who's looking for roles, and I can help you find those opportunities as well.
I should chime in here. If you go to sustainable.sdsu.edu, so students looking for work, we have internships, we have all kinds of career opportunities that are also available on our website. And it's a variety. There's everything from nonprofits, engineering, all kinds of things. So yeah, check out our website.
And we have current positions open at the Office of Energy and Sustainability right now, posted on Handshake, just apply by April 26th. So, oh, and Jessica, do you want to jump in on with career? All right, next question.
Is there a potential to expand SDSU agricultural endeavors beyond the college area community garden, whether that be through agroforestry or a sustainable farm or even lab-grown food?
Dawn might know the answer to that.
Visit our poster session. I think there's some information about that out there.
There is from, yeah.
Yeah, I think for dining, it would be, the opportunity would be at the ecological reserve. And they do grow avocados and oranges up there.
Grapes.
Is there a plan to move away from campus gasoline vehicles to electric?
There is. So there's actually requirements that a certain percentage of your vehicles, when purchased, have to be electric. And that is a growing percentage over time. And so we will be doing that as we can. We have identified our facility services fleet as one area for a great opportunity for us to electrify. As those EV chargers that Sylvia talked about come on board, it will be even a better opportunity for us to be able to do that moving forward.
The next few questions are for housing. When students get a plant with their housing move-in package, do they also get seeds? And would housing be interested in having a seed library? And are there growing container garden workshops for residents?
So we currently do not provide seeds in a move-in package. That's not to say we're not open to doing so. So we'd love to learn more about that proposal, and you can contact me and I'd be happy to respond to you further.
That's everything we have right now.
Great. Well, thank you to our presenters again. Let's give them one more hand. And now I'm going to invite you all to attend our poster showcase if you haven't seen it already. So it's right over here in Montezuma Hall. And there's more great information on the posters about student sustainability projects and other campus initiatives that you'll want to explore. And just final note, thank you to you all for coming today, and thank you for your great questions. And we'll hope that you'll all participate in some of these initiatives that you heard about. And we want to see you next year at our next 2024 Campus Sustainability Update. Thank you.
And feel free to grab a potato or a beet or a carrot on your way out.